Dzisiaj gościmy podczas naszego przejazdu.
Today, during our
Leonie,
trip,
tutaj
we have a guest
Polsce,
who is a
studentką,
foreign student.
ale nie pochodzi z Polski.
Her name
I
is
za chwileczkę
Leonie, and I
myślę,
think
że
she's
opowie nam o
going
tym,
to
jaka
tell
ta
us
historia
how it
jest, jak to się
happened
stało, że
that she came to
przyjechała do
Poland
Polski i
and she's
jest
here.
tutaj,
What
i co
happened
wydarzyło
here
się w
in
tej Polsce.
Poland?
Ale
Let's
może zacznijmy od
start
tego, że
with
sama opowie o tym, jak wyglądał ten czas.
your own life before you came here.
Okay, so I was born originally in Ireland, and when I was only 1 week old, my parents were studying in England, so we had to move back there for them to finish their studies. So we were there for 2 years, and then we moved to New Zealand for 2 years again, and then we came back to Ireland. And when I was finished my school, I decided that I want to study veterinary medicine, so I decided that I would really like to travel abroad and just for a new experience, a new life kind of thing. Warsaw University of Life Sciences was highly recommended as an English-speaking veterinary medicine school in Europe.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So.
That's good to know.
So that's what just brought me here, I suppose, and I've been living here for 2 years now and really liking it.
Byłaś też w innych krajach.
You've been to other countries. You've been to South Africa. Why these places?
Yeah, so I forgot to mention that Dad is South African as well, so we travel there a lot, you know, and visit a lot. And to me, I feel more South African than Irish.
Really?
Yeah, because we go back there. We went back there all the time while I was growing up, and we were moving around a lot. Other than that, so it's a place where I feel kind of grounded, I suppose. Yeah, so that's kind of it. And the other places we lived was just to do with work for my parents and things like that. So yeah.
Mieszkasz teraz w Polsce i jakbyś...
Right now you're living in Poland. How would you compare Poland to other places where you've been?
So at first it was a big adjustment because I was living in a student dorm and it was very like close quarters, lots of like drama going on and people,
drama?
Yeah, lots of drama. Everyone's like living on top of each other, you know. So yeah, and the culture it's not very different compared to say Ireland, but it's a little bit different, like kind of in supermarkets and things you feel it a bit more. And I guess Ireland is such a small country that everybody is, you know, very, very friendly and receptive, but in Poland it's a little bit colder, I would say, maybe just a little bit. But when you get to know people, they're like, I think they're friendlier than the Irish people, and they're more willing to help you out, like very quickly, very easily. So yeah, that was an adjustment. Also, like, it's a big city compared to what I'm used to in Ireland, you know. It's a small country. So it was a thing kind of getting used to city life and the different transports and things like this. And also on top of that, it was the studies as well, which are very, very difficult because it's medical degree. So it was, yeah, a bit of an adjustment at first, and for the first 3 months it was a little bit of a stressful time, but after that I really started getting into the flow of things. And this year I am living in an apartment now with one classmate of mine, so that's really nice for me. It's a good study environment.
No drama.
No drama, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
My poznaliśmy się
We met 2 years ago. What would you say about the circumstances, how we met? Because that's quite interesting.
Yeah, so a bit of a long story, but I will try to cut it down a little bit. When I lived in Ireland, when I was about 12 years old, I had a very good friend whose family was originally from Budapest in Hungary. And we were like best friends, you know, and with like financial situation, they had to move back to Hungary. So Yeah, so it was quite a sad moment because she was my best friend, you know, and all this, yeah. So then after I had come to Warsaw to study for maybe a year, she messaged me and said, hey, I'm coming to Warsaw for like a Christian conference. And I said, yeah, we should meet up, this would be brilliant, you know, it's so exciting. And it was like a wonderful reunion. It was maybe 8 years since we had seen each other last. So we were hanging out around the city, getting coffee, things like this, and I was having such a good time with her. I said, I will, you know, come with you to this conference.
Okay.
And through this conference, like I heard the Lord's voice speak to me, and I just felt this this kind of faith in the people that was like a living faith, you know, and it was really something new for me, and I felt extremely drawn to following this like greater grace, and yeah, so I got in touch with Gabby from our church, who's a lady who plays for worship in our church, and so she then got me in touch, I think, with you guys. I'm not sure if I met you at Eurocon or not.
Oh, we were so busy.
Yeah.
We were so busy at Eurocon that sometimes people would come up to us and they would say, oh, we've seen you at Eurocon, and I would wonder where, when. It was a very busy time for us.
So yeah, so she got me in contact with you guys, I think, and yeah, I remember I came with her to church the first time, and then she got me in touch with Renata and you, and I think things just like went from there, you know. That was it. That was, I guess, my calling from God, and
Before Eurocon, before this encounter with God, have you ever had any experience, like spiritual experience, or any contact with Christianity?
So, yeah, like my family is Christian. I come from a Christian family, and I always had faith. I did always believe in God, but it wasn't, like I mentioned before, this living faith. I was, I guess, detached from Him, I felt like, and I didn't have this personal relationship with Him. You know, I would pray and I would ask for forgiveness for my sins, but it was not like a living relationship, and I would kind of drift away from Him sometimes, you know, and come back sometimes, but it wasn't a constant thing in my life. But my parents were always extremely supportive of me, and really, like, you know, even though I wasn't in this constant relationship with God, they were always, you know, there to like keep me attached, you know, and introducing me to the Bible and bringing me back to it all the time. So I guess it was just God's way of planting seeds in my life to where I am today, I guess. Yeah.
How could you describe the place where you are with God, in your relationship with God, compared to what was before?
So yeah, at the minute, you know, I'm in this quarantine time. It can be like challenging, right? Because we don't have church, and you know, I mean, we do now, but we've been kind of not living, not having this like body life, this Christian fellowship kind of thing. So, but for me, I was in hospital for about a week, kind of before the whole quarantine thing hit. I was quite sick, and I felt actually quite detached from God in that time as well. But afterwards, it was just this, like, it kind of lit up a match in my heart, I suppose, for God, and I just really decided that I need to like be disciplined, be obedient to Him, and try and learn from all of this. So I made like a conscious decision at the start of this quarantine that it's God's plan. He scheduled this quarantine time, and that He must be using it for something. So I think He revealed it to me that He's using it for us to build on our personal relationships with him. So it's been like a really actually wonderful time for me. I've felt like extremely close to God, yeah, during this time where I haven't been close to anybody else, I suppose. It's like this lack of distraction, you know, that you get from it. So because I'm living by myself at the minute because my roommate went back to Ireland, so it's like me and God kind of most of the day, and it's been tough sometimes, but overall I think it's really brought me another step closer to him in my relationship with him.
So there can be good things resulting from the quarantine. Is there anything you'd like to share maybe with your peers who are listening? Because you're a happy person, smiling. Is there anything that you'd like to share with them, how they can have this, what you have?
I would say just to remember that no matter what our feelings are, no matter what our emotions are, that God is always there, even if we feel like he's not. And that we must remember that we're always loved by him, no matter what we do. And that he is the one who, you know, he introduces suffering into our lives. He is the one who brought the coronavirus. It's all in his plan, but he's using it in ways we can't see, and some ways we can see, but in other ways we can't see, to build our character and build up certain tolerances we'll need for the future. And also through suffering we come closer to him, and he's using it just, I think, for this personal growth for a lot of people, I think, in him, and to kind of show them that, you know, it's not a time to be fearful. It's a real time to actually test your faith and your trust in him. And because it can be like a really scary time for some people, you know, you're away from your family sometimes, and you're kind of hearing all these stories in the media, you know, and it's terrible, you know, and we keep those people in mind, those people who are sick and those people who have lost loved ones because of the virus. But we must realize that, you know, we should have this trust and we shouldn't be afraid, because it's in God's hands. And I would just say, because it can be difficult to maintain some kind of routine in your life during this time especially, that having some sort of discipline that is devoted to God. So like what I do every day is I would wake up in the morning, and before I check my social media, before anything, I will first make a coffee, and then I will come and I will read a book in a chapter in the Bible. At the minute I'm kind of in between the Gospel of John and the first book of Samuel. I'm reading both of them, and some Psalms as well. So I will read just one chapter, and afterwards I will pray and just ask God to like lead me through the day, that I can glorify him in what I do. So it really brings you closer to him, kind of in your walk with him. And yeah, he just kind of works in your life then after that, I suppose. But it's a good idea to be disciplined and obedient to him, I think, especially now, you know.
Yes, indeed.
These are beautiful words, and sounds like a beautiful message we could hear on a Sunday morning. And those are precious things. Each one of us has to learn to trust in God, because sometimes when we repeat or when we say God has a plan, it's not just a slogan, it's truth. It's the truth. And this is a beautiful testimony. We thank you that you wanted us to share with us a word of encouragement in these difficult times.
Your testimony like that was really encouraging. Maybe you wanted to adapt somehow, like say something.
Yeah, just God is here, and just remember that, like, he's everywhere, and he's always laying your path out before you, and you must just be in the Holy Spirit, trust in that, and you know, just relax and remember that God is in control, and it will show itself before you. He will show himself before you, and he will just lead you. That's it, really. Just relax.
Beautiful. Piękne.
Beautiful words. Thank you very much.
Dziękuję. A, mówisz po
You
polsku.
speak Polish.
A może podzieliłabyś się tym wersem?
Maybe you could share a verse that you've learned from John.
Jezus powiedział: Ja jestem zmartwychwstanie żywot. Kto we mnie wierzy, choćby i umarł, żyć będzie, a kto żyje i wierzy we mnie, nie umrze na wieki. Czy wierzysz w to?
Ja wierzę.
I believe.
Ja wierzę.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you.